Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Executive Exchange radio show with me, your host, George Gutierrez from the BMOP Group. Today, we have an interesting conversation at the executive level with Ernie Lightfoot. And Ernie is not only a businessman, but is also a friend of mine. And he is in, well, you know what? I'm not even going to try it. I'm going to let him explain to you what he does, but I think you'll find it pretty interesting and appealing. But him and I have a interesting background because his dad was a paratrooper, and Ernie still today remembers the lessons that he was taught from his dad. So I was a paratrooper for a bunch of years, so I can relate when we both share stories, about our past. So Ernie, welcome to the show. Take a few minutes and tell us a little bit about about yourself and about what you do.
Well, George, thank you for having me here and let me tell you a little bit about our company. What we do is we manage homeowners associations or condominiums all throughout the Northern Virginia area. And Northern Virginia means Winchester Valley all the way down to the Culpeper area as well, but as far north as Arlington.
Okay, so if I remember correctly, you have, I think, 3 separate offices throughout the Northern Virginia area.
Yes, we have an office. Our corporate office is in Manassas, and we have an office in Leesburg and one in Fredericksburg, right off of Route 95.
Okay. Now, how busy do your clients keep you in those 3 offices?
They keep us very busy. We're in charge of setting up associations' budgets and managing their funds for the year and doing the day-to-day operations for the place, the grounds maintenance, cutting the grass, and now coming up this time of year, snow removal is heavy on everybody's mind right now, and we're working to make sure that all the associations have snow contracts in place by end of October.
Yeah, this is very interesting, and I do want to spend a few minutes trying to understand what property management means to your business and to your clients. So it sounds like your client base, or what you would prefer to have as a client, are homeowners associations.
Correct.
Now, do you ever step outside of that business model? Do you have?
We have quite a few commercial, just commercial buildings and commercial accounts, let's say, that we handle the operations for a building for one specific owner.
Okay, so let's just say that I have a building in Winchester, and it's got a bunch of different tenants within that business. Okay,
Right.
and it's got offices, different businesses, etc. How do you deal with that?
What we would do is we handle everything involving the day-to-day operations. If the tenant has a water leak, if paying the rent, the tenant needs to pay the rent to us. We pay the bills for the utilities, splitting out utilities if the tenants need to pay a portion of that, making sure janitorial contracts are in place, snow removal, making sure that the building looks good, taking care of changing light bulbs if that's what we're involved in, and everything from soup to nuts for that building.
So then, would it be fair to say that you and your business become a one-stop shop between the tenants and the owner of that building?
Oh, absolutely. One thing, though, we don't want to get too involved in is the leasing portion of it. I am a licensed realtor. I'm past president of the Blue Ridge Association of Realtors, been a realtor for a very long time, 30 plus years, but the leasing part, I'm going to leave to other people who are more in tune to doing the leasing. Where we excel is we have the systems in place to do more of the management, the day-to-day operations of these entities, whether they're multifamily buildings or whether they are, multi-unit or even one unit commercial buildings.
So let me see if I get try to understand this, because you're talking about day-to-day operations, and the winter's coming, so we know the snow is coming. So invariably there's some environmental impacts that we will kind of go through in the next 5 through 6 months as it gets a little heavier. But so let's just say that I'm in my office and something breaks, whether it be a leak in the bathroom or the lights just blow up. Do I call you directly, or do I call the owner of the building?
You would call us directly, and we have 4 or 5 different numbers that you can call us, and we have a 24-hour emergency phone line as well, where there's always a live body that you would speak with that could handle just about any emergency that we need to handle.
Well, that sounds pretty good, but then you also said that the 3 offices are headquarters. Your corporate office is in Manassas.
Corporate office is in Manassas, yes.
Okay.
And then other offices in Leesburg, and another one in Fredericksburg.
So what if a lot of our listening audience is in Winchester, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
So what if we have somebody in Winchester that wanted to talk to you about these kinds of services?
Oh, absolutely. That's what we want them to do. They can give me a call directly, 540-327-6107, and that's my cell phone number. And in my business, it does not turn off. It's on 24/7. Unless the battery goes down.
So they got to go call and ask for Ernie.
Call and ask for Ernie.
Yeah, and then you'll be able to then kind of get to know them and walk through whatever.
Absolutely, we can answer questions for them. One of the main things that's happening for associations this time of year is budgeting for 2017. We are very good at doing the reserve analysis for the associations, which is actually a state requirement. An association must do one every 5 years and be ready to give a copy of that to the association members. So we can do those in-house for a substantial savings versus other companies, where we actually do them for some other smaller management companies. But that's commercial buildings as well. We can help you set up your maintenance and management budgets.
Yeah, so I did go to the website, and I have to admit that I was struck when I saw that you also, property management is property management. So you, like I said earlier, people tend to think in terms of nuts and bolts, cleaning, fixing, operational maintenance, that kind of stuff. But then when I went to your website, I was struck because there's so much more that you do. In this case, you actually perform financial services, budgeting, etc. What else do you do that is outside of the normal common sense?
Well, we do everything like you said, as far as the financial maintenance, financial management for an association. We help them set up their reserve funds or reserve accounts. We help them manage that. We don't manage it. The association would manage their individual accounts wherever they would like to do that. We also can oversee large maintenance issues like redoing a parking lot.
Hmm.
Need to come in and totally redo it. We can oversee that. We have the capability to do that. Rebuilding a structure, we have people that are on staff that can oversee that. That will save you considerable funds for having to pay an engineer just to oversee it. Doesn't replace an engineer. You know, you always need the engineering stamp and or either the architectural stamp, but we do the in between and make sure that people are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Well, good. So it's very involved. It's not just your normal cleaning and servicing.
No.
You actually provide professional services. So one thing you said earlier kind of struck me because you said you're also a real estate agent or a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that do you also provide real estate advice in either the sale of properties or acquisition of properties?
Well, I what it does is it allows me to really understand more that real estate agents or realtors and the community managers all have the same goal in mind, and that is to sell the houses or keep values up in a certain area or keep buildings up in a certain area to a certain standard so that everybody can gain the highest and best use or the best dollar for their properties, whether they're residential, whether they're commercial. So it really helps me to understand where they're thinking and hopefully helps me to relay how we're thinking and so we can get along a lot better. I'm able to do leases. I'm able to do sales, but I would leave that to the people who do that on a full-time basis.
Okay. So take a couple of more minutes and give us, again, your contact information. Do you know what the website address is?
It's www.amvirginia, all spelled out, .com.
Okay. And the number again to call?
My direct cell phone number is 540-327-6107. My Leesburg office is 703-771-3995.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, I know you've been at this for a while. You've been in this line of business for
30 plus years.
exactly, and then you own part of this business. You're
Correct.
yeah.
I'm one of the co-owners.
So can you share with the listening audience perhaps some of your experience in business and in leadership that have brought you to where you are today?
Well, like I said, we started. I started in this business a long time ago, but I did have a construction business for a number of years that actually did well. It's just, I guess, the recession back in the late 80s hit and pushed me into the real estate business. Seems kind of funny, but it pushed me into the property management business, and that's when everything kind of took off. Like I said, I was been a realtor, and I was the managing broker for a large Century 21 franchise. And next thing you know, we went mainly toward community management. It just started off that way and morphed into a very large homeowners association, community association management company, and I was one of the vice presidents there. And my current business partner was a coworker at that same company and the two of us worked together 20 some years before we decided to start American Management in 2008. And we all know what the financial climate was in 2008 was not the greatest. And we decided to set off on our own, or we really needed to set off on our own because of the large company is no more.
Well, thank you very much, Ernie. We really appreciate you having taken the time to spend it with us today and share your experiences with our listening audience. So again, thank you for joining us at the Executive Exchange with George Gutierrez from the BMAC Group. Again, thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.